Welcome to Bed Crime Stories. I'm your host, T, and I want to say a special thank you to you guys, my members, my Patreons. I am so honored that you have agreed to do this for me each month. I feel like you are investing in me, in my creative output, in my career, in my journey, and I cannot say thank you enough for that. So here is some special content just for you guys. Because OJ Simpson recently died, I've been looking into the case again and re-watching videos about it, and I wanted to share 5 little-known facts about the case that I found very interesting. So here goes. Number 1. When OJ Simpson was sitting in jail awaiting his trial for the deaths of Ron Goldman and his ex-wife, Nicole Simpson, I should say Nicole Brown Simpson, his friend and lawyer Robert Kardashian, yes, Kim Kardashian's father, enlisted his female assistant, an attorney, to sit with OJ each day, all day, because he could not handle being alone in his cell. At first, Kardashian was OJ's cell companion, but when it became too much, he brought in this female attorney. So OJ did not have to sit in that cell alone all day. He had a companion. Of course, I believe it was a paid companion, so to speak. The privileges of wealth. Number 2, on the night of June 12th, 1994, the same night Nicole and Ron died, OJ nearly ran into a single mother named Jill Shively. She was driving on San Vicente Boulevard in Brentwood, California. OJ was in his white Bronco with the lights off minutes before 11 p.m. when he crossed paths with Shively in her Volkswagen Beetle, mere blocks from Nicole Brown Simpson's condo. OJ nearly smashed into Shively, and when he yelled at Shively out of the driver's side window to get out of the way, not only did Shively see OJ's very recognizable face, she also recognized his well-known voice. You see, she just watched one of his movies. Shively thought he had to be intoxicated to be driving like that, so she called the Los Angeles Police Department. Can you imagine if he would have hit her, and if the cops had been immediately called to the scene? I mean, this was OJ. Spoiler alert, I think he's guilty. I believe he did it. This was him leaving the crime scene with the cut on his finger, and also likely wearing some clothes with a lot of blood on them. Why was this incident not brought up at trial? Had it been mentioned, it would have further solidified the crime's timeline, and it would have placed OJ very close to the crime scene. I mean, this really could have been the smoking gun in the case. Well, unfortunately, hard copies showed up on Shively's doorstep and told her that they had spoken to the DA and gotten approval for her to be featured on a segment of their show and for her to tell this story about OJ nearly running into her. They offered her $5,000. Now, she turned it down initially, but later she ended up doing the interview, taking not the $5,000, but $2,000. Now, when prosecutor Marcia Clark saw this show, she was absolutely furious with Shively. She called her to her office, and she basically said, "You just ruined my case." Marcia hounded Shively so much, she just kept calling her and telling her how she ruined the case, that Shively had to use the $2,000 to hire a lawyer to protect her from Marcia Clark. Now, Shively carried a lot of guilt about this because she believed that she was the person who ruined the case and basically was the person who got him off the charges, got him acquitted, which also meant that she was the person who led to Nicole and Ron not getting justice. But over the years, some lawyers have come up to Shively and said, "No, it was not your fault. Marcia Clark and the other lawyers ruined their case all by themselves." And one of those lawyers was Vincent Bugliosi, who wrote the book Helter Skelter about the Manson murders. Number 3, During Nicole Brown Simpson's funeral, her casket was closed. Not surprising considering the severe neck wound she suffered. However, the day before the funeral, there was a private viewing and the casket was open. Somehow they managed to present her in that casket. They must have wrapped something around her neck, and OJ attended the private viewing. During it, he spent a lot of time next to Nicole, and he allegedly bent down and said to her, "I'm so sorry." He also kissed her. Now I'm thinking that Nicole, had she been able to, would have pushed him away and not wanted him kissing her. I mean, come on. I'm telling you guys, every time I do a numbered video, as in the top 5 whatever, I always forget which number I'm on. I always pretty much screw that up. I believe I'm on number 4. Although Nicole suffered such a massive cut to her neck, according to the coroner, she probably faced her killer for several moments. The coroner based this on injuries to her fingers and her nails. It is frightening to think of Nicole opening her door and seeing OJ Simpson standing there with a sharp object in his hands. By the way, the coroner said that it was likely that OJ, or the perpetrator, knocked her senseless with the back of the knife handle. She fell to the ground, and this may have been the moment when Ron Goldman turned up, and this is when OJ turned his attention to Ron, and after cornering him against a gate there, a little courtyard area, that Ron Goldman tragically could not escape. Ron Goldman fought as hard as he could. He had defensive wounds between his fingers. He had jabs and pokes all over his body, on his thigh, in his side. He didn't have a chance. After doing in Ron, OJ, I believe it was OJ, allegedly turned back over to Nicole, and that is when he used the sharp object to cut her throat from ear to ear. It was such a massive wound that he nearly decapitated her. Number 5, lest you cling to the notion that OJ did not commit this crime, you should know that a trace of Ron Goldman's DNA was on the glove found at the Rockingham estate, OJ's home in Brentwood, and fibers on that glove matched carpeting in OJ's infamous white Bronco. Traces of OJ's, Nicole's, and Goldman's blood were all found in the Bronco. Also, a sock with drops of both OJ's and Nicole's blood on it was found in OJ's bedroom. Busted dude, busted, busted, busted. At least in my mind, not in the minds of the jurors who sat in on the trial. They voted him not guilty. Many believe that this verdict was payback to the LA police because of what they did to Rodney King. Unfortunately, this meant that the families of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman had to be victims, just like their loved ones. They were denied justice. That's all, and I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories. Love you guys.